Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Hello there, my name is Salim Javed and I'm an assistant professor at the Faculty of Mass Communication and Media Technology at HGT University. As this is the third video of Module 2, in this video we are going to talk about something special. So far we have talked about camera distance and camera viewpoint in Film Grammar Part 1, which was the first video of our second module. Then we talked about camera movements and the rules of composition in Film Grammar Part 2, and that was our second video of second module. In this video we are going to talk about a sense that this is the first thing we learn even before we are born in this world. It starts in the mother's womb, where a fetus forms initially, and once organs are organized after 4-5 months, the fetus starts hearing. The very first sense that gets plugged in, the sound. What you are experiencing right now is an audio-visual journey or experience. Here, audio is as important as visual. We not only, see a film, but we also hear it. Now, to comprehend this, how about we do some exercise? The joke is on me. I am in front of you and you are not only just looking at me but also hearing my voice. Now let's assume for a second that my voice is to go off, and all that you observe is that my lips are moving but you do not hear my voice. In another situation, my lips are moving but you will hear the voice of a different person. How about we do it? Let's do it.
言葉一つにしてもそうだよね。例えば雪が降る、言語は乱れてるよね最近。昔我々若い時はやばいとかそういうのはヤクザの使う言葉だったのよ。だからそれが変化していった。例えば入れ墨、タトゥー、全然違うのよ。入れ墨っていうのはいわゆる罪を犯せばこう入れていったの。犯罪者の証で淡い雪とか。
Well, the first situation must have been funny and the second situation meaningless. It must have looked like some technical glitch also. How about we do one more exercise? I need you to see and hear a scene from one of my films in which I was the executive producer with its original audio in situation number 1. The same scene without any audio in situation number 2, and again the same scene with some other dialogues in situation number 3. This exercise is basically to highlight the importance of appropriate sound.
जल्दी घर पे मैं कल लेके चल जा।
नहीं दिखाई नहीं देता।
अरे पर सुनाई तो देता है ना। देखो कुछ भी हुआ ना तो
देख 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 हमारी बात तो सुन, रो मत, हम सब संभाल लेंगे। सुन सुन सुन, चुप। देख कुछ नहीं होगा, हम संभाल लेंगे। एक काम कर, तू छत पे जा, छत पे पीछे वाली सीढ़ी से उतरना, सीधे जाएगी चौराहे पे रेडी में, वहां पर 10 मिनट में आना, कुछ नहीं होगा।
What the hell is this?
हाँ, हेल का शोरूम है, उसके बाजू में ICICI का ATM है,
It's ICICI.
और उसके बाजू में SBI का भी। भाग।
Who's dead?
You know damn well who's dead. He killed her, and I'm not crazy.
You had a seance.
Jody and I had a seance in the bathroom, and Jody and I, nothing happened, but when I went back there, she was there.
You know what I've got at stake with this paper. You know how important this is to me.
Something is happening to me.
I can't help but feel that somehow you're trying to sabotage me. You're trying to hurt me somehow.
Norman, this isn't about you.
You're overreacting.
Now you know the importance of sound and appropriate sound and why it is designed so carefully into a film. Film uses a variety of sounds like human speech, sound effect, music, and silence. Let's observe some examples.
No, I drop बाइक मतलब तुमको बाइक से छोड़ देंगे।
No need. I'm with my uncle.
अंकल, यू अंकल आई अंकल, आई अंकल यू अंकल, अंकल को भी छोड़ देंगे, कोई टेंशन थोड़ी ना।
Best of luck for your interview.
सेम टू यू, तुमको भी बेस्ट ऑफ लक इंटरव्यू के लाने।
Stop it! Stop it! What are you doing? Huh? I will छोड़ दूंगा तुम्हें। ठीक है? अच्छा आप लोग बताइए गा गी गे के लिए हम क्या यूज करते हैं? सिंपल सा सेंटेंस है, छोड़ दूंगा तुम्हें, I'll drop you.
Unhappy tonight because a country like Bangladesh, which tried taking the humanitarian view of the Rohingya crisis, has now openly acknowledged the terror threat coming from the Rohingyas, so much so that it wants India's support on
चोनरिया ने डार मोरी गुइया रे लड़का हाथी शहर भर के ऐसी चटक चोनरिया ने डार मोरी गुइया रे लड़का हाथी शहर भर के।
Sorry?
I have seen it quite often that some students get confused between terms like sound and voice. Are you hearing my voice or sound? So let's first clear this doubt. The voice refers to the faculty of speech in humans. It is the sound produced in a person's larynx and uttered through mouth as speech or song. On the other hand, the word sound refers to a sensation caused in the ear by the vibration of surrounding air or other mediums. Anything that may be heard is often referred as sound. This was sound. Now, to be more precise, sound is the vibration that travels through a medium. Different disturbances create different patterns of vibrations or different sounds. These patterns of disturbances travel as sound wave, or in other words we can say sound is a type of energy made by vibrations. When any object vibrates, it causes movements in the air particles. These particles bump into the particles close to them, which makes them vibrate also, causing them to bump into more air particles. Now this movement, called sound wave, keeps on going until they run out of energy. If your ear is within the range of the vibration, we hear the sound. Now, for sound to be sound, the specifications that I'm going to talk about must be met. What are these specifications? They are, production, propagation, and perception. But what is production, propagation, and perception? Well, production means an impact which creates vibration or movement, an impact which creates vibration or movement. Now, what is propagation? Propagation means the vibration which creates a disturbance or fluctuation in air pressure. Sound travels in solid, liquid, and gases, or we can say that it needs a medium to travel. These fluctuations generate sound waves which travel through the air or medium, whichever medium is available. Now, what is perception? A perception is when the sound wave reach a receiver, the change in pressure are interpreted as sound. Now, after this, let's talk about the importance of sound in film. So by now it is clear that to bring moving images to life, we use voice, music, and sound effect. There is another element which is germinated by the absence of sound, and that is called silence. Absence of sound is called silence. All these elements are crucial for the moving images to feel alive, so that the audience could feel the created world of cinema. There has to be a kind of believability. The way a character is, moving his or her lips, the voice must match with the lips and should create an illusion as if the person is speaking spontaneously and simultaneously. Though we know that a series of still images and the sound is recorded on different devices, as there is a continuous and believable synchronization of lips and sound, or body movement or gestures with the sound, and the picture is convincing enough, the magic of cinema takes place. If the sound and the image, they do not match, the entire magical world will fall apart. Sound defines how the image is perceived. Sound effects alone have distinctive rhythmic quality and help build a character in the scene. Even speech, the way I speak or the way you speak, speech has rhythm, music obviously has rhythm, then sound effects have rhythm, images have rhythm. Now, if you want your image to be correctly perceived, the expected sound should flow from the screen. It means if you are seeing a rainfall scene, then the raining sound effect must be there. It is called fidelity. As long as sound is appropriated by the visuals, or the visual is appropriated by the sound, sound being faithful to the visual, or we can say that as long as audience believe that they are hearing the reasonably close sound of the visual source. We are talking about fidelity. Now, imagine that you are an actor. Just imagine you are an actor, and I put you in a situation where you are surrounded by dakus. In a wonderful situation. It is a fight scene and you are hiding behind the Kali Pahadi, और आप काली पहाड़ी के पीछे छुपे हुए हैं. You have a traditional revolver in your hand and you are about to face all these dakus at your own. Now, how many rounds of fire you can have with a traditional revolver? Well, you would say, Salim sir, limited rounds of fire. Yes, you are absolutely right. And here we are talking about, maximum 5 to 6 rounds of fire. Now, how many rounds of fire a machine gun can have? Well, it can vary between 500 to 1000 rounds per minute as long as the trigger is held back and there is a continuous supply of the ammunition. Now listen to it very carefully. Can you put a machine gun sound on a traditional revolver? I'm sure that you will not put the visual of traditional revolver and the sound of a machine gun firing together. But if you do this, then it is the case of lack of fidelity. And this results in the disconnection of the viewer from the film which they have been watching, because what they have been seeing, actor with the traditional revolver, and what they are hearing, on traditional revolver you are putting up the sound of a sound effect of a machine gun. There is a disparity, and this disparity between what is being seen and what is being heard is called a lack of fidelity. Comedies sometimes make use of lack of fidelity. I remember that there is an ad which I saw that there is a well-built person and he's a wrestler, and when he wins, this voice is like very childish voice. So, that creates comedy. Now, fidelity is purely a matter of expectation also. We do not know how and what laser gun really sounds like, but we accept this, wang sound they make in Star Wars. We do not know how it sounds, but still we accept it. Now, this brings us to the parallel and contrapuntal sound. When sound goes according to the scene, or we can say that the sound that are matching a scene, it is called a parallel sound. Now, what are contrapuntal sound? Contrapuntal sounds are sounds that do not match with the scene. Let's see an example. It's an interesting example. Let's observe this example. Well, that's funny. Now let's talk about synchronous and asynchronous sound. Asynchronous sound is that smart sound-wise move which helps you smoothly shift to the next shot or scene. If you understand visual bridge concept, then understanding asynchronous sound is very easy. If you remember the opening scene of Schindler's List, Steven Spielberg, which was released in 1993, as the candle exhausts itself and a small streak of smoke floats up in the air, but the sound effect of the steam engine is put on that, and the next shot begins with the tilt down on that steam engine, or the Alfred Hitchcock films, The 39 Steps, which was released in 1935. When a woman discovers the dead body of a man, what kind of a sound are we expecting at this particular moment? I mean, we are expecting a scream at this moment. But when instead of a scream, we put the sound effect of a train, matching the tempo of the scene, we have asynchronous sound. So we can say that the expected normal sound effect are replaced by unconventional sound effect, at least unconventional for that particular shot or scene, which adds exact emotional nuance and also enhancing the realistic approach of the film. Now let me simplify it further by giving you, one more example. Suppose you are watching a film where two good friends, those who have overcome many problems together, and they are right now in the all is lost kind of a section. I mean, you will get to know about it when we will be talking about screenplay writing. They are fighting with each other so badly, so suppose if this scene includes the background sound of a cotton ginning traditional machine, ting ting, that big machine, the asynchronous cotton ginning traditional machine underscore the psychic injury that has been occurring during this argument. Now, if the synchronous use of sound ushered the silent films into the era of talkies, it was the use of asynchronous sound through which the talkies liberated itself from the theatricalism of cinema. It was like matching of sound with image, this lip sync, which created a sync film. And asynchronous is when you are using unconventional sound effect for something which is expected. Now, sync dialogues are the best example of synchronous sound. If the character is playing a piano on a screen, the sound of the piano should be projected. If I'm speaking this way, so the my dialogues and visuals must match. Now let's talk about diegetic and non-diegetic. Diegetic sound is those sound which are the part of the film world. Well, it means that the sound is a character or object in the story space of the film. It also means that it is coming from the screen, the elements that are part of the cinematic world on screen, and in some cases off screen also. Later on you can include them. If you are in your kitchen, it's an example, suppose if you are in your kitchen and preparing an omelette for yourself, so all the sounds like you putting your slippers on to the rustling of the clothes, footsteps on the concrete surface, taking the saucepan out from the drawer to putting it on the gas, the opening of the butter box, picking up the butter knife, the butter is frozen, so you have to struggle to cut it, and dropping it on the hot pan surface, the frying sound, the cracking of an egg, the sizzling sound of the egg getting fried, the sound of the flipping of the egg to cook it properly, and so on. Well, all these and many more, they are the part of diegetic sound world. But why what all I have just said falls in the category of diegetic sound? There is a simple answer to it. All these sounds which are being called the diegetic sound are part of the world that an audience is able to see on screen. Now imagine the same scene where I am preparing an omelette for myself and there is an unknown creature moving towards me, and The point of view shot of this unknown creature is used to heighten the tension in the scene. You give this unknown creature a specific music score, and later on you can use it as a motif also. Now, as because the character is not able to hear this specific music score, as this specific music score is not part of the known world to the character. It is a non-diegetic sound. It is a kind of sound that comes from the source that is outside the narrative world. It is a kind of a sound that is added in the post-production phase. Non-diegetic sounds are sound that the character cannot hear. The audience does not know where the source of the sound is coming from. Now, let's talk about dialogues. The dialogues are recorded, therefore they are synchronous or tweaked through ADR. Other than dialogue, what we hear is the result of live sound effects. When we watch a film, much of what we hear is created. This created world, as per the sound, is the domain of Foley artist, who along with mixer creates this world. It is the world where sounds are discovered and created as per the nature of the shot and matched properly with the visuals. I also mentioned about ADR. So ADR stands for, automated dialogue replacement, or a computerized method of looping. It goes on like this, it keeps on going like this, which itself is a method of redubbing dialogues. A Foley stage is the workshop in which the props are used to make sound effects. The world of sound is an endless reservoir of exploration. In this video, we have just touched upon very few concepts, and that too in a very, very limited manner. There is so much to learn, there is so much to know and practice as far as sound is concerned. In this video, we have learned about, or we have talked about, the importance of appropriate sound, 3 types of sound: human voice, music, and sound effect, and how silence is the absence of sound, the difference between sound and voice, production, propagation and perception of sound, fidelity and lack of fidelity, parallel sound and contrapuntal sound, synchronous and asynchronous sound, diegetic and non-diegetic sound, etc. But there is so much more. I hope that the information provided in this video will come handy whenever you need it, and this video must have solved some of your doubts. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Till then, take care and stay safe.